No, I'm not beginning yet. I see brothers scattered all over the place. I wonder if they plan on just, see what's going on. The companions were once on a journey with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they were separated all over the place. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Inna tafarruqakum hadha min ash-shaytan." Says, you see this separation y'all get? That's from the devil. So whenever they came together, right, to sit down with Allah's Messenger, they would be close together. Shaykh Nasr rahimahullah ta'ala, he always used to point this out. Min adab al-majlis. One of the manners of sitting together for learning is you come together, right? Yeah, so all that other stuff. If you're younger than me, you ain't supposed to have no back problems. So, yeah, 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 yeah. طيب. I might be. بارك الله فيك. Hey. طيب. إن الحمد لله. Wait a minute. Yeah. Yes. You on the mic?
You want to ask the brothers? We have CDs of the lectures, and please do not record the lectures on your phones or computers.
You sure you don't want to say that on this?
I think this is brothers.
Would you say, but don't record the lectures on your phone and all that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. In our last sitting, we were dealing with Jumu'ah. And we said that Jumu'ah is compulsory on all adults. And there were some exceptions. I think we mentioned about 4 exceptions. And all of the brothers remember what those exceptions were. Yeah, go ahead. Barakallah fiqh. Break it down. If you're a woman or a slave or a child, or say, Barakallahu lak. Hey. Now, hey. And we said that this sitting we were going to deal with something that Shaykh Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala dealt with concerning travel. Because the issue arises about Jumu'ah if a person is on a journey. But before we get into that, he presented a discussion as to who is considered as in a state of travel. And he categorizes individuals into 3 categories. We'll look at that inshallah. The Shaykh, he said, those who are strangers and leave their home setting, they have 3 conditions. لهم ثلاث حالات. 3 conditions. الحالة الأولى, the first condition, is where a person, when he leaves, he intends to abide in a place indefinitely. If he could stay there for life, he'll stay there for life. Okay? al-iqama al-mutlaqa. And this is wherever he goes. And some workers are like this who go when they take up residency for the purpose of tending to some business, or other individuals like them. And they intend that this is actually new residence. The Sheikh says, فَهَؤُلَاءِ فِي حُكْمِ الْمُسْتَوْطِنِينَ. They are the same as, in regulations, as the residents. في وجوب الصوم عليهم في رمضان وإتمام الصلاة واقتصار على يوم وليلة في مسح الخفين. And their regulations are just like any other resident, where it's binding on them to fast in Ramadan, to pray completely, not to shorten the prayers, and in wiping over the footwear just for a day and a night, right? He says, لأن إقامتهم مطلقة غير مقيدة بزمن ولا غرض. Because their residence is actually unrestricted, indefinite, without any specific period or without trying to achieve any particular goal. فهم عازمون على الإقامة في البلاد التي اقتربوا إليها لا يخرجون منها إلا أن يخرجوا. These people, they have intentions to abide where they are permanently, in this land where they went. And they will not leave unless someone actually drove them out. Those individuals, they are the same as residents. You go to a place and your intent is to abide that this is home. You home. والحالة الثانية, the second condition, أن ينوى الإقامة المقيدة بغرض معين. In this circumstance, the intent is to abide for achieving a particular goal. Okay? لا يدرون متى ينتهي. They don't know when the particular objective is going to be achieved. They don't know. وَمَتَى انْتَهَى رَجُعُ إِلَى بِلَادِهِمْ. Whenever it has been accomplished, they return home. He says, like some of the merchants who come to sell some products or to purchase some items and then return home. Or like some of the officials who come to take care of official business and they do not know specifically when it's going to end. And whenever it does, they return to their homes. He says, فَهَؤُلَاءِ فِي حُكْمِ الْمُسَافِرِينَ. These people are considered travelers. فَلَهُمُ الْفِطْرُ وَقَصْرُ الصَّلَاةِ الرُّبَاعِيَّةِ وَمَسْحُ الْخُفَّيْنِ 3 أيام وَلَوْ بَقُوا سَنَوَاتٍ. He says, for these people, they come under the regulations of travelers. They're allowed to break the fast, to shorten the prayers. That's the 4 rakahs, prayer 2, except Maghrib, of course. To wipe over the footwear for 3 days and 3 nights, even if they will remain in this state for years. He says, وَهَذَا قَوْلُ جُمْهُورِ الْعُلَمَاءِ بَلْ حَكَاهُ ابن منذر إجماعا. He says this is the position of the majority of the scholars, so much so that Ibn Munzir, when he actually spoke about this, he says there is a consensus concerning it. So this second group of individuals, they leave to go somewhere else to take care of some business, but they do not know when it is going to be concluded. It may take a day, it may take a month, it may take a year. The Sheikh says these people are considered as travelers, and all the regulations pertaining to the traveler applies to them. So those are the first 2 categories, right? I'm going to pick on you. What were those first 2 categories? Don't look behind me. You want me to call your name? Huh? All right. What are those 2 categories? Hey, enter. Uh-huh. Wait. What about them? They can shorten their prayers? Consider residents, huh? What about the second group? Hmm. They don't know how long it is going to take to complete. Okay. And those are considered as residents, right? Travelers. Barakallahu fi. The Sheikh says, وَالْحَالَةُ الثَّالِثَةِ The third state. He says, أن ينوى الإقامة المقيدة بغرض معين يدرون متى ينتهي. These people, actually, they have the intent to abide for a restricted time, for accomplishing a specific goal, and they know when it is going to end. They know when it's going to end. This is different from the group before, they for a specific, but they do not know. This one they know when it's going to end. He says, and whenever they have concluded their business, they return home. As soon as it's accomplished, they return home. He says, فَقَدْ اخْتَلَفَ أَهْلُ الْعِلْمِ رَحِمَهُ اللَّهِ فِي حُكْمِ هَؤُلَاءِ. The scholars differ concerning this third group. The scholars differ concerning this third group. What's the third group? But they came to do what? Accomplish something, right? Speak up. And they know when they're going to return. And as soon as it's over, they're home. The Shaykh, he says, so what is well known from the madhab of Imam Ahmad is that if these individuals, they intend to stay for more than 4 days, they are to complete the prayers. They are considered as residents. They treat themselves as residents. They complete the prayer. And if they intend to stay for a period shorter than that, they're allowed to shorten their prayers and they're treated as travelers. The Shaykh, he says, he quotes al-Mughni and the place where this can be found. He says this is the position of Malik wa Shafi'i and Abi Thawr. This is the position of Malik wa Shafi'i. هذا قول مالك والشافعي وأبي ثور. He said, بروي هذا القول عن عثمان رضي الله عنه. This particular position was also reported from Uthman رضي الله عنه. Okay? And al-Thawri and the Hanafi, Ashab al-Ra'i, they say if a person resides for 15 days, this includes the day when they're going to leave, that this person has to pray completely. Yani he's no longer considered a traveler. Less than 15 days, yes. If he intends less than that period, okay, he's to shorten his prayers, he's considered a traveler. The Shaykh says there are other opinions on this issue. هناك أقوال أخرى ساقها النووي. Nawawi discusses it in his book of actual explanation al-Muhaddab, and he quotes the volume and the page and what have you. He says there are about 10 different opinions concerning this issue. He says وهي أقوال اجتهادية متقابلة, and they are opposing positions that are based on ijtihad. ليس فيها نص يفصل فيه أو بينها. We don't have anything decisive concerning these particular issues or these different positions that the people, the Ahlul Ilm, held. He said, for this reason, Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah and his student Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, they have the position that this last group are also considered travelers. شيخ الإسلام ولهذا ذهب شيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية وتلميذه ابن قيم إلى أن هؤلاء في حكم المسافرين لهم الفطر وقصر الصلاة الرباعية, that they are allowed to break the fast as travelers and to shorten the prayers, the 4 prayer 2, and to wipe over the footwear for 3 days and 3 nights. He said, look at the Majmu' Fatawa, and he mentions the volume 24, and he mentions the pages 103 137, 138, 184. He mentions the page. And he also mentions al-ikhtiyarat al-fiqhiyya, the positions of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah. He also mentions to view or to check out Zad al-Ma'ad by Ibn Qayyim al-Jawzah. He mentions the third volume, page 29. And this is when he discusses the fiqh of the Ghazwa of Tabuk, the Battle of Tabuk. Also, Ibn Muflih, one of the students of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, after mentioning the differences that the Ahlul Ilm held concerning this, he chose this position, and he said that our Shaykh, this is Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, chose the position also. And that the person is considered a traveler as long as he doesn't make up his mind to take up residency. Okay, he says, وَاخْتَارَ هَذَا الْقَوْلِ الشيخ Abdullaah ibn Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. This Abdullah, the son of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, rahimahullah ta'ala, had chosen this position. He says this is the position of Muhammad al-Rashid Rida. He says it's also the position of Shaykhina, Ikhtiyar Shaykhuna, Abdul Rahman ibn Nasir al-Sa'di. Shaykh al-Sa'di held this position, rahimahullah ta'ala, in his book al-Mukhtarat al-Jaliyah. He says, وَهَذَا الْقَوْلُ هُوَ الصَّوَابُ. And this position is the correct position. لِمَنْ تَأَمَّلَ نُصُوصَ الْكِتَابِ وَالسُّنَّةِ. In respect to those who reflect on the textual evidences found in the book, the Quran and the Sunnah. He says, and the difference between this latter group and the first group is that these people are waiting to accomplish something. As soon as it is finished, they are out of there. They don't intend to stay indefinitely. He said, بل لو طلب منهم أن يقيموا بعض انتهاء غرضهم لأبوا ذلك. Even if you were to request them to reside after accomplishing whatever they came to accomplish, you would ask them or request them to stay, they would refuse to. He says, ولو انتهى غرضهم قبل المدة التي نووها ما بقوا. If what they came to accomplish was attained before the specified time, they would leave and not remain in that particular land, في تلك البلاد. He says, as for the first group, they're the opposite of this. فهم عازمون على الإقامة المطلقة مستقرون في محل الإقامة. These people they made up their mind, this is the abode, they relax, and this is the place of their residence. لا ينتظرون شيئا معينا. They're not waiting for any specific thing to be accomplished that would stop their residency. He says, فلا يكادون يخرجون من مقتربهم هذا إلا بقهر النظام فالفرق ظاهر. He says this latter group, they will not leave unless actually the government chases them out of the place. Okay, so the difference is clear and distinct if a person reflects on it. He says, فَالْفَرْقُ ظَاهِرٌ لِلْمُتَأَمِّلِ. He says, وَالْعِلْمُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. And Allah, the knowledge is with Allah. So, فَمَنْ تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ رُجْحَانَ هَذَا الْقَوْلِ فَعَمِلَ بِهِ فَقَدْ أَصَابَ وَمَنْ لَمْ يَتَبَيَّنْ لَهُ فَأَخَذَ بِقَوْلِ الْجُمْهُورِ فَقَدْ أَصَابَ. He says, whoever this position becomes clear to when he acts upon it is correct. And if the position of the Jumhur, the majority of the scholars, become clear to him and he acts upon it, he is correct. He said, because this is an issue of ijtihad, and whoever gets it correct, he has 2 rewards, and the one who makes a mistake, he has 1 reward. And the mistake is forgiven. وَالْخَطَأْ مَغْفُورٌ. قال الله تعالى لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah doesn't place on a soul what is beyond its capacity. And the Prophet ﷺ said, when a person judges and he exerts himself, does ijtihad, and he gets it right, he has 2 rewards. And if he exerts himself and he makes a mistake, he has 1. This can be found in the collection of the sheikhs, separate from his Fatawa on Siyam, Ahkam al-Siyam, for the brothers who can read Arabic, and check it out, inshallah. He has a number of other discussions, rahimahullah ta'ala. Now, one of the things that arises is what happens then if you are considered as a traveler and you land in a place where the Jama'ah, Yawmul Jumu'ah, for example, is being established. Do you stay at home and don't join the Jama'ah? Sheikh bin Baz, rahimahullah ta'ala, was questioned about some of the brothers living in Spain. And they were out there for purposes of study, trying to acquire some type of degree. And what he said, I'm going to read the end of his fatwa. Okay. He says here, concerning those people there who are out there, he says, if you find someone, a group of Muslims praying Jumu'ah, of those who are residents there, فَالْمَشْرُوع لَكُمْ ولأمثالكم من المقيمين في البلاد إقامة مؤقتة لطلب علم أو تجارة نحو ذلك الصلاة معهم لتحصيل فضل الجمعة. He says, if you're in the city and you are in the presence of these people who are residents there, and you are there for a specific period of time, either to acquire some knowledge or to deal with some business, it is actually for you, if the prayers are being established, to join them to get the benefit of Salat al-Jumu'ah. To get the benefit of Salat al-Jumu'ah. This is something that is important because the discussions with the Prophet ﷺ, as Ibn Qudama mentioned in his Mughni, that when the Prophet ﷺ was on a journey out in the areas, whether it was on the time of the Hajj, in Arafah, where the Jummah was not prayed, okay, while the Prophet ﷺ was on a journey, or in some of the other ghazawat. That is a different scenario than if you are residing in the city limits and you come to rest and you get the Masjid around the corner and the Jummah is being established. The first scenario with the Prophet ﷺ moving out in those open areas with his companions, no Jummah is established. It was not known that the companions did that, as Ibn Qudama mentioned in the Mughni. Sheikh bin Baz looks at the situation that actually is very relevant to our settings when you come and you're in the city limits. Okay? And the masjid is over there. You say, we travelers, ain't no Jummah binding on us. I'm going to pray in my bait. So he deals with that particular issue. Barakallahu feekum. Okay? طيب. Abdullah, he says, Sa'altu Abi, this is Abdullah, the son of Imam Ahmad. And this is the riwayah, his son Abdullah, he collected the statements of Imam Ahmad in a book. He said, I asked my father about the sick person and Jumu'ah. يؤخر الجمعة حتى يصلي الإمام. He delays from participating in prayer until the Imam initiates the prayer. He says, لا بأس. ولا يتقدم الإمام. He doesn't precede the Imam. وليس على المسافر جمعة إلا أن يدخل مصرا ليشهد الجمعة. The person who is traveling, and what is intended is the person who's outside of the city limits. If he enters, it's not binding on that individual unless he enters the city to participate in the Jummah. Because once you're there, then this is something that should be done. Are there any other occasions when a person may be excused from actually participating in the Jumu'ah? Issue? The Eid falls on Jumu'ah. طيب. You got some dalil? You know I was going to ask you that. Yeah, okay, that's one of the times, right? Hey, now. Anything else? Huh? He's whispering. You're right or you're wrong. He ain't gonna take that from you. المطر أو الخوف في دليل؟ الجمعة. I like sweating brothers sometimes, man. You know, they say, barakallah fikum. Okay, listen. Now, let's say, brothers got it right? We have a narration, actually a few narratives. This narration here is collected by Bukhari and Muslim. And it's on the authority of Ibn Abbas. He said, Ibn Abbas said to the mu'adhin on a rainy day, let me read the whole thing in Arabic. قال ابن عباس لمؤذنه في يوم مطير إذا قلت أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله فلا تقل حي على الصلاة قل صلوا في بيوتكم فكأن الناس استنكروا قال فعله من هو خير مني إن الجمعة عزمة وإني كرهت أن أخرجكم في الرواية أن أحرجكم فتمشون في الطين والدحض. This narration from Ibn Abbas, he said to the mu'adhin on a rainy day, if you say, when you say Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, do not say Hayya ala Salah. Rather say Salu. Did I translate that? I sure did. Don't say Hayya ala Salah, rather say pray in your homes. And it seemed like some of the people were critical of this, and he said, someone who is better than me did this. He says, Jumu'ah is an obligation, and I dislike to bring you out to walk in the mud and in the slippery conditions. What was intended, as Hafiz ibn Hajar mentioned, is that if he had allowed him to go on and say Hayya ala Salah, the people would come out. All right? And they would have initiated doing something where they had a concession to do otherwise. So here, him telling them to pray at home under these circumstances, an indication, if you have those conditions, that it's one of the concessions for staying inside. Okay? We have another narration, actually. And this narration actually is on the authority of Ibn Umar. Actually, Nafi is narrating, and it's collected by both Bukhari and Muslim. Nafi, he says, أذن ابن عمر في ليلة باردة بضجنان ثم قال صلوا في رحالكم فأخبرنا أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم كان يأمر مؤذنا يؤذن ثم يقول على إثره ألا صلوا في الرحال في الليلة الباردة أو المطيرة في السفر. هذا يعني رواه البخاري ومسلم. Nafi said Ibn Umar gave the adhan, and it was a cold night at a place known as Dajnan. And at the completion of the adhan, notice in the narration of Ibn Abbas, instead of saying Hayya ala Salah, he said Salu fi buyutikum. So that was done in the middle of the adhan. Hafiz ibn Hajar says there's no indication that the rest of the adhan was not given. Right? There's no indication of that. So you show them that this was the only thing that was omitted, and the rest of the adhan continued. In this particular narration here, the whole format of the adhan was intact, and after the adhan was completed, then he said, Ala sallu fi rihalikum, or Ala sallu fi rihal. That is, after you complete